Joining me now, Peter Beck, CEO and founder of Rocket Lab. Peter, it's great to speak with you today. You just put out quarterly earnings, better than expectations. You also raised fourth quarter guidance. You continue to do more Electron launches, and Space Systems continues to grow strongly. Walk me through what you're seeing across your businesses right now and what's propelling the momentum.
Yeah, no, thanks very much, Morgan. Well, I mean, it is as you say. So, we continue to execute well on their Space Systems business. And Electron is the small launch vehicle product that we have. We continue to do well with that. The ASP continues to rise, and bookings are incredibly strong. And then, of course, Neutron is making great progress. So, there's a lot of technical milestones met, and we continue to see really, really strong momentum within all the business lines.
I do want to get to Neutron, but first, just the fact that so much of the time we talk about Rocket Lab, we talk about the rockets, but that Space Systems business is the business that's growing so strongly right now and is moving you closer to this path of profitability. So if we could just talk a little bit about what you're seeing there and the growth you're seeing there.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, what we're trying to build here is an end-to-end space company. And launch is super important. It's literally the keys to space. But our Space Systems group is what enables us to build, the infrastructure in orbit. So, we supply components to a tremendous number of projects around the industry. But, if you look across the Space Systems group right now, we have over 40 spacecraft in backlog, ranging from missions to Mars through to telecommunications and national security missions. So, yeah, that part of the business continues to go from strength to strength. But I think it's always important to remind everybody that, the end goal here is to build an end-to-end space company.
And so if we shift back to launch here, what are you seeing in terms of interest for Electron, especially as you do start to develop this new medium lift rocket, Neutron?
Yeah, so, Electron had another strong quarter with over $55 million of new bookings. And then, of course, Neutron, this is the largest project within the company. And Neutron is really designed to do a couple of things. One, is to try and dislodge some of the medium-class launch monopoly that's in the industry today. And also, provide an ability for us to launch our own payloads and build our own constellations and services in orbit. So having that reusable multi-ton capability is really, really important.
Neutron's still on track for its first flight next year?
Yeah, you bet. No, we're hitting some great milestones. So the Archimedes engine is going really well, and we had a major milestone of a stage 2 tank, in full flight configuration in a wet dress, and so no, it's going well. I mean, I always caveat with it. It's a rocket program, so anything can happen at any time. But right now, I think the team's feeling really good, and we're reaching those milestones that we need to.
And you announced that you signed your first customer as well. You've also stated your intention to go for national security contracts. What do you see as the biggest marketplace for that new rocket?
It's a bit of both, really. So, obviously, there's tremendous demand within the commercial sector, a lot of mega constellations, and you saw us, sign our first commercial customer in that vein. But also, on national security, if you look at the national security front right now, especially NSSL, Phase 3 Lane 1, there was really the last award was to one provider.
So what do you think a second Trump administration is going to mean for space policy?
Well, I think it's good. I mean, the administration has a very strong focus on space and national defence. And when space does well, Rocket Lab does well. So we're very happy about that. And of course, there's an even stronger focus.
Okay. And in terms of Neutron, as you do start to see more other types of rockets come online, including SpaceX's Starship, I just wonder which you see this competitive landscape evolving to.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I mean, look, I recall a conversation we probably had a few years ago about the small launch industry, and there was at one point something like 100 small launch vehicles, and it basically shaped out to just one.
And whether it's from the launch standpoint or whether it's from Space Systems standpoint, the fact that Rocket Lab has its hands in honestly some of the most dynamic space exploration programs that we're seeing take shape right now, I wonder what you're most excited about.
Well, yeah, to your point, there's a lot to be excited about. Obviously, Neutron opens a lot up for us, especially in providing and ultimately providing services from space. But I think about some of the other programs. We've talked about the national security, but one that we've got our eye on is the Mars sample return. It's one of NASA's most important missions. Whether it's launching off a little planet with little rockets, I mean, I'm not sure who does that better than us.
You still have plans to go to Venus?
Absolutely, but as you know, it's a nights and weekends project, so there's not that many nights and weekends anymore. Currently, I think we're aiming for about a 2026 launch. It'll be very helpful to have Neutron up and running there, to be able to loft that up. But yeah, no, it's certainly a project that we're very passionate about here.
And then finally, given the fact that Rocket Lab stock is up double digits today, it's more than tripled over the past 3 months. It's up something like 380% over the past 6 months. I could just keep going here. But it does seem like a tide has turned in terms of investors starting to understand the space business. I wonder if you think that's true.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, SpaceX is the largest space company in the world, and I think people are starting to understand that Rocket Lab is looking like it's going to come in as the number 2. And if you look at the SpaceX's valuation, it's something like over $200 billion. Rocket Lab is 5% of that, or under 5% of that. And as those two companies start to look more and more similar, it's not surprising that the valuation gap starts to decrease over time.
Peter Beck, founder and CEO of Rocket Lab. Always great to speak with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Morgan. Great to catch up.